Should we give everybody like anti-trigger warning at the beginning of this episode? Like, you should probably like be in a really crazy mood when you listen to this.
Whatever you're expecting, it's not that. We had a really long day.
Yeah, we're burning incense to clear the energy. The presidential debate was last night.
Mm-hmm. We
We're
tried
not
to write
even
some
gonna-
comedy.
We're not even gonna get into all
Can't even
that.
tell you anything about it.
This country is a joke. Anyways, I'm like, should we take shots? Like, I don't know.
Bro, honestly, it's Friday night.
Hi, Shania.
Hey, Meg.
I'm kind of in the mood for something like.
I know. We were
Hey,
like,
Meg.
hey. we were doing a little comedy writing today.
Yeah,
And a lot of our comedy, we like were drawn towards like middle school jokes,
for sure.
which was really interesting because I do feel like middle school is like when I was at my funniest, maybe. Because I just didn't care about anything else.
I know, bro.
I didn't care.
That's like right before they put the shackles on you, you know?
yeah.
Right before they lock
get
you
in
up
the
real
shit.
good. Literally, because
Yeah.
that's super true. I was like,
Do you feel that way too?
oh, yeah. I was so like, I was me. I was confident. I was
Aw.
like,
But yeah, let's like get into who we were in middle school.
That's
kind
kinda
of
fun.
Jinx, you want me to go?
that's funny.
Okay. Yeah, who was like middle school Shania if she were to walk in this room?
Ooh.
Oh, this is
sweet
heavy.
girl. I know. No, we can keep her cute. I honestly like.
No,
it's
so heavy too.
it's really exciting to be at like a time where it's like, I don't know. I think it used to be harder to like think about and love on and like, you know, but now it's just like such a sweet, sweet time.
Aw.
You know, it's less like cringe and so sweet. I mean, I went to an all girls middle school. I talk about this all the time.
Yeah, this is a crazy experience. Our middle school experiences could not be more different.
I know, which is why I'm like excited to hear the differences.
Yeah, okay.
Because for me, it was like all girls, crafty shit in this like little small school. I
Love.
was like trying everything. I was on swim team, volleyball, badminton, basketball, flag football, swim.
No.
I already said swim team. Fucking
Swim
synchronized
twice.
swimming, fucking diving
That's
team.
great.
Fucking
It was private.
it
private school?
It was a private school.
I'm like, I did pickleball in gym and I did tests on the gym floor.
I don't know. Like we went surfing
That's
one week
sick.
during school. We had like it was really cool. Like we would have this week called like intersessions, which is like a week during spring where you got to like either you would do a knitting one or a surfing one or photography or like something, and you just like went and explored, and it was
That's
like
sick.
super fucking fun. I was student body president. I was on
Hi.
student government
I
all
was just
3
gonna ask that.
years.
So it felt like you were, because you were open to all those things, you were like actualizing yourself at that time too.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bit.
totally.
That's so, because
Like,
that didn't
testing
happen
it
for me
all
until
out.
much later.
Yeah,
But
because
that's so cool.
as soon as I fucking met boys and also like started getting grades, I literally was like, oh, like this is why nobody has a will to live. Huh, me neither. Like literally. It's like so much harder. But when it was just like a bunch of girls. We were all just like
Sick.
kikiing and giggling and like talking about
Was
like
everyone getting their periods?
everybody was getting their periods. There were
That's
like
so
baskets of
cool.
tampons and pads and shit. We had a therapist on site all the time. She had her door open and you could literally like schedule a meeting with her at any time. And she also taught us like our sex ed. So it was like therapist sex ed. We had a question box. That's how I found out what 69 was. Somebody asked in the question box. What is 69? And like it's vividly burned
What
in
did
my
she
brain.
say?
She wrote it on the board to
The
like kind of
numbers?
explain to us. Like that was kind of like, you know, the kind of the image.
The sex position?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Exactly. And she was like, you know, she brought dildos into our
Did
class.
you get like bricked up?
what is bricked up?
Like, did you get a boner?
Like a lady boner?
Yeah, either one.
Honestly, at that point, I really
It
like
was so like educational. It wasn't a sexual
yeah,
thing.
and that was
Interesting.
earlier too. I think that was in 6th or 7th grade. Like I think I started to like my sexuality started to
Oh,
like
cool.
peak out. Definitely like I don't know. I feel like a little bit later than most people. Like I wasn't super. Again,
too.
I think the girls' middle school, but there definitely were people there who were like whatever, like
Yeah.
down to like fuck and
jerking.
But I just was like,
you were DTF.
Exactly, bro. But I just was like not tapped into that. I was
That's
like
sick.
trying way too hard. You
Good
know?
on you.
We went to Mexico.
Bro,
we
lit.
went to fucking Disneyland.
What?
We went to like it was a good time.
Literally, like literally, I'm trying to like imagine a world where our field trips are like anywhere except like Boobalt's Nature Preserve,
I
where we
know.
walk around in the dirt for like the whole day.
Around in the dirt.
Literally.
I know.
Crazy with all these stinky boys in the
That's
school
some, like,
bus.
that's the Bay Area shit. That's like
Dude.
fucking awesome. And also like shout out to my parents because they really like that
That's-
was their number one priority in their entire life, which is like ironic because now I'm like a college dropout. But they were like education, education, education,
lit.
education, which is like
that is lit.
great priorities. Okay, what about you?
Bro, it's so funny, bro. Like the juxtaposition is pretty nuts.
I know, but you're like I'm envious of your guys's like Midwestern like fucking like those movies. Anyways, go
It
ahead.
was not like that.
That's what
for
I
me.
imagine.
That's cool. What movies? You wouldn't be able to name one.
just
the
like
vibe.
the American nostalgia. Like you guys like driving
Middle
around
America.
those roads
I
and
was doing
like
that in middle school.
singing. Like yeah, that's true. Those are
Middle
all in
school,
high school.
Your mom's picking you up and dropping you off.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The weather's ass. It's dark all the time. Literally, it's like like Siberia
Right.
for most of the year.
Where's Siberia?
Geography lesson. I don't really know. Russia.
Let's go.
It's
Shout out
just-
Carlos.
Shout out Carlos, bro. Siberia. I was like, I was gonna say Russia, but I didn't want it to be like totally.
Wrong. Yeah.
I was literally gonna say that.
That's me as fuck all the time.
Well, middle school, I was still very much into basketball, very much sporty vibes.
Meg's WNBA journey, you
Literally,
guys.
you guys don't even fucking know. Yeah, so that was after like my peak in basketball. My peak was in 5th grade.
Oh, really?
That's when I was.
shit.
This is my favorite fun fact about myself. That's when I was the best 3-point shooter in 5th grade in the state of Wisconsin. Okay?
Bow, bow.
All right.
In the state
No,
of
I was state.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, no big deal.
Holy Okay, hold on a second.
No big deal.
Okay, so you strutted into these middle school years,
Well,
like
basketball is
boom,
a little
ziggy,
bit
boom,
more
boom.
no, bro, no,
Oh.
because I had braces, and my
Yeah.
2 best friends were early bloomers. They were stunning in middle school. Still are stunning women at the time, but
Shut
like at
up.
the time they were like middle school baddies. So I was like a little late bloomer. Like
Yeah.
my best friends are really pretty, and they were like dancers. And I was like, okay, like they're wearing like Aerie.
that was my biggest. That's something I actually didn't touch on. Is like that was a
Oh,
big
dance. You didn't,
Yeah.
you didn't get into dance.
No, not at all. Because
Spit some show and
I think I
dance.
didn't want to. No, I
Oh,
want you to
okay.
keep going.
No, okay.
I'll bring it. We'll circle back.
We'll
Let's
circle-
stay here for a
finish it.
second. Hold
No,
on,
they were just really cool and really nice
Yeah.
and really, really pretty.
gorge.
And I just didn't feel confident.
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, like I can, like and I was also like, at that time you're so like focused on masculinity because that's what's powerful, obviously.
Yeah.
So I was really aligning myself with that, and also like I was just like, I feel like that is true to me too in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was just doing basketball and like volleyball and stuff. And I was like kind of cracking jokes in class sometimes, but I still was a little like, didn't have crushes, like didn't have things, not a thing. Boys were not hitting my line.
I did not have a crush until I was like, I think in my
Yeah.
like sophomore year.
Really? That's pretty late. Mine was probably like
Maybe
end of middle
freshman.
school, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, they weren't really coming around the corner. And that was fine too. I was like, these guys are gross. But it definitely was.
Coming around the corner, bro.
Sneaking around the
What
corner?
fucking corner, bro.
The corners. The corners of Snapchat.
See, that's the other thing too. And I guess you're saying like you didn't really have this experience, but I definitely didn't have the like hiding behind the bleachers and like all of that nasty business.
Wait, what? Wait, who's hiding behind the bleachers?
Like all
to kiss?
Yes.
I
right?
think that's only in Glee.
That's just in movies.
That's just a movie.
Because I was just like, I went to the girls' house. I don't know anything. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But I guess nobody did. So that's good.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I'm sure one would.
Bitches were fucking.
That
I
was like
feel
the band kids in like the lunchroom.
Yeah, that's true. Ew.
I wasn't really doing
They've been freaky from
They've
the
been
jump.
freaky. Literally.
Should like respect.
Respect. But I do remember like the first time it was like I played so basketball was kind of like in the year a little bit, so people didn't really. I didn't really have a thing. I didn't really know what my deal was, or people didn't know that I guess in middle school. And I remember I played a game like a lot of the students were there in middle school, and I kind of went off.
Let's fucking go.
And I remember like the next day in class, like I remember like hearing people like whispering about me. And that was the first time I was really like, oh, what's happening?
You're like, I'm
Up.
I'm the shit.
Meg up.
Meg's up, bro.
And then
Meg
like
balls.
literally it like grew my confidence and I was feeling better. And then also I was like, okay, like I'll like chop it up with the boys. Like I'm one of the boys. Like yeah, I hit my
Yes.
girl's line, like she's down. Like a little bit of pimp shit.
Pimping out
Really
your hot
pimping out my
dancer
hot
friends. Yes.
And they were like, because they were like cute and shy. I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to you. And then we'd like coordinate. Like, I'd be the friend who was like talking to the boy's best friend who was like, yeah, she's down to hug during like lunch if you want to hug with her. And then they'd like hug in front of everyone. Yeah, you guys didn't do that.
Bro, see, that's the
middle
shit.
school. Cool,
exactly. That's the Pen 15 shit where I'm like watching it and I'm like, yes, this definitely happened for everybody else, but like not
That
for
did.
me.
That
yeah.
did. It wasn't like that
where
did
it was
happen
like,
for sure.
oh my god, like.
But then everyone starts kissing, and you're like, I haven't had my first kiss, and you're like, I'm only gonna die. I'm literally gonna die.
Oh my god, do you have a good friend? Not a good, but like
No.
Yeah.
It's fine. We were in. It was a sober Halloween party, like freshman
Love.
year of high school. I was just. This was also a big moment for me too, honestly.
okay.
Because I was like still had braces, but I was like getting like into my cool girl vibe. I just was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dressed as Cher from Clueless, and my two best friends from middle school were dressed as the other girls too. So like, cunt.
Now Meg's in her it girl
Meg's
era.
up, like that. But honestly, that party was like the first time I remember people saying like, "Oh, like Meg's kind of pretty." I remember that happening at that party, and then I was like, "Let me just ride that wave, bro. Like, let me just get it." And then I think the guy, the first,
Not the giggle.
no, just because it's so sweet and stupid. He was wearing like a. Okay, so there was like these costumes that was like an inflatable animal, and it was a dinosaur with like a cowboy hat, and then he was like riding the dino, but his legs were the dino's legs,
Right,
And
I
he had
loved
fake
those
inflatable.
costumes.
He was wearing them.
I love those costumes.
Isn't that kinda cute?
I've always wanted to be one of those.
I was like, I respected how hard he went on that.
for a long
Anyway,
time.
that was my first kiss.
That's super cute. Did the inflatable get in the way at
No,
all? It wasn't tricky. I'm sorry. Was it a horse?
We were seated.
Okay.
It was I think
What
it was a
kind of
dinosaur.
animal?
I don't know why it was a dinosaur.
Okay.
I think maybe that was
Yeah,
the
I've seen
joke.
those ones too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
But it was like that
costumes.
was like the spot where everyone had their first kiss. I remember like different nights, but it was like I had my first kiss.
Oh
here,
my
too.
god.
So I was
See,
like,
that's super. That's that Midwest shit.
yeah, we're in a basement for sure.
Bro.
Yeah, we're in like root beer with cup pong.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
But anyway, I remember that being like a change for me too.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, people are hip.
You're like, I'm hot.
People are
Like, it's
into
no
it.
big deal.
Let me get these braces off and I'm fucking out of here.
Bro.
That was a huge deal. You don't have braces. You were born with perfect teeth. That was a
Shout
big-
out to God.
literally. Shout out, dude.
Shout out
I'm
to my
so
mom,
envious
too.
of that.
That's my mom. I
Braces
know,
were a
that's-
huge
That's
component
some
of my
dumb
middle school
shit that
years.
it's literally just like God. Like,
sucks.
because my sister, she had braces and it
Really?
was like,
yeah,
oh,
Jack didn't have braces, perfect teeth, and I'm
I
like,
know.
actually, fuck you.
I know.
Actually, fuck you.
Those are probably the two things about Jack and I that are the similars is we both love strawberry ice cream and we both didn't have fucking ice cream.
And then we fell in love.
didn't have braces.
Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
And that was it. That was it. What? I know.
That's crazy.
I feel like think about other things that Jack and I have identically in common.
Short hair.
Okay, yeah, we have the same haircut. Okay, but those are temporary things.
Short hair, jawline. Let's go.
No, we don't have the same
so
jawline.
strong.
We're not gonna argue about this.
Anyway,
on the podcast.
that's really funny. Hey, I like strawberry ice cream. Did you have braces?
literally.
Like what?
Hey, shit, you want to be my girlfriend? Okay.
So like you never had a crush until sophomore year, I guess.
Yeah, maybe freshman year. I know. I'm trying to remember because I definitely blacked out a lot.
Oh, no.
Oof, I definitely blacked out.
Speaking on that, like
Blacked
watching
out.
Pen 15, I was like, oh fuck, shit happened. I don't remember.
Mhm,
So much
mhm.
stuff came up when I was watching that
Oh
show.
my god, because that show is like it's the visceral feelings that they capture. I really like that. And no, they do it in both seasons. But there are certain elements of the first season that are especially
I think
dramatized.
it's new. I think
like-
it's such a new experience. the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
season.
totally. And it's like watching that and the certain elements that they heighten. I just
Mhm.
can't stop thinking about the one. I can't say this.
What, the
Like
titty thing?
No, the like when she's like masturbating for the first time.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's like the big, like they enlarge that shit. And it's like, oh, like you're really like
Yeah.
they really are like, it's a very visceral show.
That's so interesting.
Which I think, like everything, or like when she's looking at the fruits and stuff like that.
the sand dunes was really funny.
Yes, bro. And it's like they bring you into like that perspective.
Mhm.
And so then it like that unlocks like a lot for me.
It's kind of scary, I guess.
Mhm.
Scary story incoming. But that unlocked for me. We were in 7th or 8th grade science class, and I was just like literally in class. We're like looking at our textbook, and my friend was like, "Oh my god!" like next to me, and I turned, and the boy next to me was masturbating under the desk. Yeah, isn't that crazy? We were like looking at like
happened to him?
what happened.
Did
to
they
him?
like expel him?
Oh no, certainly not. Certainly not. bro, teachers were doing crazy shit. He wasn't a teacher, he was a student, but they didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. It's public school. Where's he gonna go?
Where is he gonna go?
Literally, he's in middle
But
school.
you can get expelled from public
You
school.
can, not for jerking
you gotta
it,
murder somebody.
jerking it in science class, literally.
What?
I know, he was sitting right next to me. That was the first time
That's
that was the first time I encountered
traumatizing.
masturbation too. So I was like, fuck that shit. That's really scary.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Bro, that's horrifying.
Yeah, scary story. But that reminded me, at Pen 15 brought that up. I was like, oh my God, this kid was doing that because we were looking at fucking sand dunes and shit. Like, I remember we were looking at like a textural textbook thing talking about like atoms. I don't fucking know. Gravity. Anyway. So that was a Pen 15 moment for me that I was like,
Yeah.
forgot about.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
No, the show's so good.
The show is fucking brilliant. I don't
it.
like the way that they transform into 11-year-olds.
They're amazing actresses.
The way that it's her mother, her real true mother.
I like that actually like makes me like cry.
It's absolutely unbelievable. And the way that they're able to talk about these things with such truth and such humor. Like, this is what we were saying about Julio Torres. I don't want to be repetitive, but like,
Yeah,
bro.
First of all, this is like maybe the funniest show I've ever seen in my life.
I think so too.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I've never been so like struck by a show being so funny.
Mm.
And that's because they're women, first of all. They're like
exactly what I was gonna
amazing
say.
comedic actresses specifically, but also they're playing it so dead ass. And that's why you actually care so much about them too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I love them so much.
I know. And you know, they just like both had babies together at
Yeah,
the same
Maya's pregnant
time.
again.
Bro.
They're so cute.
They're like 30.
I love them.
It's fucking crazy.
They look 30
in the show.
sometimes.
Really? You
Like
think
if you
so?
hone in on it, but they're acting. When they start acting, it's like, oh my God. I'm like, I remember it took me like a minute to be like, wait, what? And then you see them act for a minute, you're like, okay, yeah, exactly.
For some reason, I had no barrier to entry.
You're
I
totally
literally,
down.
I thought they were like 25, maybe.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't even thinking about their age when I was watching it, but afterwards, you know, like thinking about
Yeah. I remember it's a really like, because it's such a visceral show, talking about like what it's like to be a middle school girl, what it's like to be like an Asian American young girl.
Yeah.
And it's so honest that like recommending it, it's like, I remember recommending it to you
Yeah.
and being like, I'm being really heavy handed with this
Yeah.
comedy show.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like we get it. It's like a big deal show. And I'm like, no, like
Yeah.
it's like they go places.
Yeah. And for some reason, I like didn't take your warning seriously enough. And then like
understandably.
one night, I'm like, yeah, because it's like so goofy, like 90 or 85% of the time.
Yeah.
And then you get like that one episode that I'm watching alone by myself. And it's like about her, like them discovering race for the first time, essentially, which like, yeah, that all fucking happened to us. And we were all like, oh, what? And that like spiraled me into like a
Really?
whole, yeah, because,
That's a big episode.
and I don't know, it's really interesting the way that they like, just the tone, the way that they do that kind of like balancing act is like kind of fucking crazy, you
Yeah.
know? Because it's like so fucking goofy. It's the funniest show you've ever fucking seen, but it's also the realest fucking most graphic show I've ever fucking
Literally.
the most honest show
So
I've ever
honest.
seen.
It's-
Maya's perspective is like unbelievable in that show, and just like to see that reflected back at you, you're like, oh my God, it's real. Like all of these things that are like always like brewing in my brain that I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like trying to work out in therapy, like, oh, you're like, no, that shit was like, that's what, like it was real, you know? Which
Yeah.
is like so amazing to like see and like digest, and also like really like,
Be
like,
funny.
yeah.
Have it be funny.
Yeah.
She was saying that. She was like, I just was like, I wanted something as simple as like seeing a mother-daughter like speak in Japanese saying goodnight to each other. She was like, I just wanted to see that. I wanted to see like a mother and a daughter having like a bath together the way that my mom did culturally with me. Like, and it was like, it's crazy. It's the first time. And I listened to them on a podcast. Don't know what podcast, but it was her and Anna. And it was like a white male interviewer. And they were like talking about the show. I don't even know who this fucking guy was. Fuck this guy. But he said like, yeah, and then you go into your house, you got this like really weird, freaky shrine there. That's like crazy.
Yeah.
And Maya was like, yeah, well, like your response to that is like actually exactly why we did that, because that's like a cultural difference. And that's something my family had growing up truthfully. And that was something that I was ashamed of because of reactions like that. Like they were just like, it's just crazy to see like someone talking to the creators of the show not thinking that there was thought going into, like, it's just so like disrespectful
Right.
to not know that they were intentional with it.
Yeah.
And every single thing in that is so intentional.
Yeah. Well, less so that it's like not intentional, and more so just like not realizing that you're saying something super
Literally.
rude.
Uh-huh.
It's like you're being rude right now.
Yeah. I think it's like I don't know why, but the like disconnect of not understanding what they were doing.
Yeah.
is just so stupid.
I think that it's because like a lot of people can't like fathom. A lot of people, because when you think about like the mainstream media that we consume, right? This is like a redundant fact. We know it's like all just white people when you watch movies and things like that. And then you think about like the average fucking motherfucker who's just like, okay, this is the only expansion past my reality that we really get, which is why I think it's like really crucial that movies and TV shows and stuff like that like give us a variety of perspectives, because for so many people that's the only way you're introduced to it. You know what I'm saying? It's the only way that we're like brought into a different world. And the fact that it happens so rarely, then it's just like you don't. How would you know that that's not a weird, freaky thing? Because to you, it's a weird, freaky thing, and everything you've ever seen, every person you've ever talked to, every single class you've ever taken is directly targeted to what you think is normal. So, yeah, I think that's freaky. I'm going to tell you it's freaky.
Yeah.
When it's like, do you know how many different fucking types of altars and houses and cultural foods and like all this shit exist? No, they don't.
No.
Like, they literally just don't know.
It'd be like, because it's so fucking easy for them to just put blinders on and not
Yeah.
consume any media that's not exactly for them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's designed to do that for them.
Yeah, and honestly, it's more beneficial for them to not consume any other media, because once you become like awakened to
Yeah.
like what else exists, then you're like, oh no, and now all of a sudden you have this burden of like unlearning a bunch of shit. When it's like
Literally.
you would have been way better off. Your life is way better off if you just like tap into the white privilege of it all.
Yeah.
Bro, like
And
boom,
not
boom,
fucking
boom.
insult creators of a show to their face on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Because there's no consequences.
no, and they literally have the rest of the interview. They're like, okay, we're gonna forget about that weird fucking 5
Literally,
minutes. Like,
yeah.
super weird.
It's super fucking
And like
weird.
these women are like dealing with that all the time. Like they're so fucking professional. They're like
Yeah.
getting this shit made.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know.
Like I'm imagining them like pitching this idea and being like, no, like try, like we can do it.
Yeah.
Like we can play middle schoolers. We can do it. I trust
know.
it.
I know. Apparently they were just like they were just like exchanging stories. Like they became like
Yeah.
friends at NYU.
Yeah, they were like in Amsterdam abroad at NYU.
and then they just were like talking about that time, and then they
Yeah.
were like, okay, bet. Like,
I think they were like, oh, I wish we're in middle school together, like because they were both really lonely and kind of solitary in middle school. And they're like, I wish we had each other. And then they're like, oh, what would it be like if we had each
Yeah.
other going through everything? Okay, side note from the like it is I guess in theme, but like Sam in Pen 15, I wish I had a Sam in middle school.
we can't. Should we not spoil it? We won't.
No, we can't spoil it, but he just has a really cool character arc. I think.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I love
I
him.
love
I know.
I love him.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is that they do such a good job at like we get to see his experience. We get to see what's the other kid who's like his friend who's like
Yeah,
gay and
Gabe.
like
Yeah.
we get to see his experience. We get to see all the different little like vignettes of everybody.
Okay. I watch that show and I think about like Maya Erskine, like this beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Putting that wig on, and then on top of that, putting a retainer on top of that, putting on a fake mustache.
I know.
Like, what?
I know.
And her like going to the props people and be like, nah, I look too good. You gotta make me
I
uglier.
know. I
Uglier.
know. And then she said that they would keep going back and be like, wait, no, I think you need to add more. Like, we look too good. And then eventually they were like, nah, guy, like, you look busted. You're
They
fine.
were like shooting like the dance scene or something, and Maya was like, I look like really good right now. And Anna was like, you do look really good.
Oh, that's another part of the show that I love is like the false confidence. Not false confidence, just the confidence that middle school girls have that we get to
Yeah.
like see is like the purest. Like
Feeling
and I
yourself for the
relate to
first
that a
time.
lot. Exactly. It's like you're kind of, and it's before the shackles have been like like chained onto you. So you're kind of like fucking with it. Like I got a little bit
Like,
of ass now. Like, come on.
That's lit.
Right?
Wait, you
Like,
felt that way? I did not have I don't have
I
anything
felt that way. But yeah. Because
Because maybe
it-
it's just a feeling.
It is a feeling, but I remember being really confident. I had fucking
awesome.
awesome friends in middle school who were like
Lit.
gassing me the fuck up. Everybody was like,
Lynn.
and I was like, it was really, really sweet.
That's so
I
sweet.
definitely had like a tricky time too. I feel like I'm only sharing the good parts and
Yeah.
I'm just like raving about middle school. It was fucked up. Like it
Yeah.
was hard. I was confused. My sister was so much skinnier than me. Like I was like, so I fucked with the ass and then I didn't want the ass. Like
That'd
it
be
was
so confusing having a sister. I feel like I didn't have that with Jack.
Yeah.
'Cause it's so different. But having a sister would be like,
comparison.
oh my God, like cut out.
Yeah. Wait, what was your actual question?
Oh, I guess it's like, how far would you go?
Oh.
Like it'd be difficult to not prioritize beauty
Right.
in a
I know.
performance. It's a thing that I spend a lot of energy thinking about,
Yeah.
especially when it's something that's gonna be like on fucking film forever.
Yeah.
But if it's like a rooted in comedy and truth. It's like, fucking, I'll do that shit.
I know the integrity behind it, because you're right. Like, especially thinking of it from like industry perspective, it's like branding yourself. Like you think about the way that like women don't get to pivot as often, like, or like, I don't know. I always think like once you brand yourself as something,
That's
it's
it.
really hard for women to like pivot, and
That's
it's
true.
like letting that go, you know?
Yeah,
Or
not
like,
being the pretty one.
mhm.
That's like, that's not at all what people think of you as anymore.
Yeah.
Which is like also so fucking cool and freeing. Like that also is like an ice bath of truth. It feels so fucking
Yeah.
nice.
Like dunk yourself in that shit. But it is something like,
Now get those watches right, big daddy. Big daddy pimp.
you wanna know what time it is? You wanna know what time it is? I'll tell you what time it is. It's truth time.
Your Ben's out back.
Yes, bro. We know.
What were you saying?
Well, it's just, I mean, the other thing is also, though, like, society does not give you value if you're not pretty as a woman.
True,
So,
true.
like, it's not just a burden. It's more so just like,
job to do.
exactly. Because the way that beauty and racism and classism and all of these things are very intertwined. And for me, it became more of a conscious thing, but it definitely started as a very subconscious thing, like from
Wow.
like a young age, but like realizing like the more you align yourself with whiteness, the more you align yourself with beauty. And so the way that these things like intertwine with each other, I don't know what to say. It's
No,
very...
but that's like and you're so young, trying to put
Yeah,
a
you-
line in between two things
Yeah.
that are so intertwined.
Yeah, and you don't even realize that you're mixing them together. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like that's where internalized racism and self-hatred like
totally.
intertwine with each other. And then you're trying to unlearn one, and then the other one is like unraveling, but the other one is like your lifeline. The pretty privilege is like
Your worth.
it's literally like, you know, and then you put that on steroids because you're like, I'm going to be an actor. And it's like, okay, like then that's literally your lifeline. It's literally your fucking job. And then it's like, do you want to unravel it?
Which is like, that's what I'm saying about the Pen 15 thing. It'd be so freeing
Yeah.
to like, first of all, like literally burn that shit to the ground. I'm gonna wear a fake mustache and a crazy ass bowl cut.
Yeah.
And like unflattering fake boobies.
Yeah.
Like that are like fake nipples. Fake nipples are crazy. The
Yeah.
buds.
Aww,
Isn't that
super sweet?
That's what they call it. But it's like, it's gonna be crazy to do. And it'd be hard.
I know, it'd be really hard.
And I just think they're soldiers. I'm like, go get them, girls.
Thank you. Yeah, I honestly was gonna say that like before we move on from Pen 15, like it's just a thank you. It's
Thank you
really,
for your service.
like it's really that freedom that you then like reflect back at us, that you then like grant the rest of us, and also just to be seen,
yeah.
just to be
giving us
seen
that.
in like femininity and in
Girlhood.
Like that's what my fucking girlhood looked like.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's like.
It is so sweet.
It's a really and to like, it's also such a special experience to watch Pen 15 and to be able to like watch those things back in a very like visceral, real way. But it's also, since I'm watching it from me now, it gets to be romantic. Like I get to see her like eating her foreign food and all that shit and be like, oh my God. Like, you know, you get to relive it.
Reliving it is such a treat.
It's such a
Healing experience, it feels like.
Thanks for
I just rewatched the AOL episode too. They take like sexy pictures for like the stranger she's texting on AOL, but they end up sending just one of her hand. And she sends it, and Maya says, she's like, what if he doesn't think it's pretty? What if he doesn't think it's pretty? And I remember like being like, oh, that made my stomach hurt.
Oof, yeah.
Like sending like a Snapchat that's like barely your eye. And you're like,
Bro,
what if he doesn't think it's pretty?
That shit is crazy. The way that like Snapchat was stressful.
That shit
bro.
fucks our face up.
What? Like what?
Yeah, dude.
What?
It's
Put
crazy.
that away.
Like I was like on Snapchat and Kick in like middle school. Remember Kick? You know on Kick?
Yeah. I had Kick.
That is like
secretly.
Yeah, yeah, because there were some predators on Kick.
Secretly, yeah.
That's
My mom was
crazy.
pressed about the internet,
Yeah,
as she should be. She was really pressed about it. Like unsupervised internet was like one of my mom's top concerns.
had to be a huge
Disney
concern for me.
Channel and unsupervised internet and processed sugars, bro.
Oh my god, my parents used to say that Disney Channel made me sassy.
Exactly. That's why I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Oh, you didn't get to watch it
I
at
was
all?
not allowed to watch it. And then like
watched it a
one
lot.
time I was like begging and begging and begging, and then they were like, okay, fine. And then I watched it for a week, and then my mom was like, your attitude is out of control. That's enough.
Literally, my mom was like, you become a different person when you watch a lot of Hannah Montana.
That's what my mom was like fucking
I was
pressed.
like, but I'm like crafting idols and like references in my head.
I know.
Like
and
I'm
that's something
pulling
that,
things.
yeah, I missed out on a lot of that.
That's literally.
that was honestly, I think, one of the hardest parts of middle school was just like not really like knowing a
Yeah.
lot of what the fuck everybody was talking
That
about.
suck.
Star Wars is what? Like, what's going
Literally.
on? Like, people like would not shut the fuck up about that shit.
Star Wars? Were you in the
Star
80s?
Wars and- I don't fucking know. That's just what. That's
Darth
just
Vader's Luke's father.
what? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? There was a TikTok of some girl, and she was talking about like the fact that she's pretty and that she like knows it, and then all the comments were like really, really mad at her for exactly
she's
the
not
reasons.
pretty?
No, they were like, you arrogant fucking piece of shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How dare you, you egotistical fucking slut? Right? Like, they were so mad at her, which is like what we're both so fucking afraid.
You're like,
that
pretty privilege is hard.
we're really
Riddled with fear.
really scared right now.
Yeah.
She was like, yes, of course I know I'm pretty because that's been the number one emphasized thing. Like, people have been telling me I'm pretty my entire, that's
Yeah.
the only thing that people like ever fucking,
Yeah.
you know, it's like what it becomes reduced to.
Mm-hmm. True.
I'm trying to come to like a good conclusion about it because I'm like, it has to be for something.
I think it's like, that's, first of all, it's why we started the podcast also.
is that we're pretty.
Well, I think it's
That's why
I think it's
like,
an endearing trait that makes it more palatable for major audiences.
right.
I-
Like, let's go mainstream with our prettiness.
Like, let's go. No, but it's like the brain. It's like we were sick of not having an opportunity to like, okay, we also have thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts and feelings and are
Yeah.
intellectual about things sometimes too. And
Yeah.
let's just have a place where we can actually share what we think about something for once, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I also think, and again, maybe this is super fucking egotistical, but I also think the burden that comes with privilege is like to use the box that you get to stand on or the microphone that you get to hold, literally,
Hello.
to like, okay, you know, people are gonna listen to you because you're pretty, so like say some shit,
That's so interesting.
you know, or like you're white, so your voice is the loudest in
Uh-huh.
the fucking room, like say some shit,
Yeah.
you know,
Facts.
it's like a disservice to like sit there and like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
That's so interesting. And you think prettiness is that because it's the door opens for it.
Oh my God. People listen to you so much fucking more.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I remember like literally there was such a stark contrast from freshman to sophomore year because sophomore year I went vegan. All of a sudden, like 15 pounds are gone. All of a sudden, my hair is longer. All of a sudden, like a lot of things change. All of
Wow.
a sudden, like you're sitting at a different table. You're talking to different people. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like my stomach just got
Right?
tight.
you're like, okay, so now you're locked in. So now you're, and you know, when you talk about adolescence, it's like on a much smaller scale. But in terms of power structures, in terms of social structures,
Yeah.
you know, you're like climbing this ladder. And same with this industry, same with the world that we like walk around in. It's like your voice is just fucking louder, which is like fucked up. But that's why it's like you gotta have some shit to say.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta use that fucking
brain.
microphone and be like, and it's a really uncomfortable unraveling because it's like, yeah, we're like sitting here, same with like dismantling like racism and all of these things. It's like you have to go inside of these really uncomfortable places that it's like it would be better off not to explore that. We would be better off not talking about this.
Yeah.
You know? But
Just
like,
nodding along and being like, okay.
exactly. And
next.
being like, okay, like you get to be a little louder and it's like a little bit easier to
Yeah.
get
People look
into.
at me more.
Exactly. And give
Yeah.
me jobs. I literally, the first job I ever got, like the guy, it was a restaurant. I like got hired as a hostess. And then like 2 weeks in, somebody came to like ask if they could drop off an application. And my manager, like the owner of the restaurant was like standing right next to me. And then the person left and he was like, that was ridiculous. You know, like being pretty also like helps a lot. You would know that, you know? Like, and I was like, okay, like I got my hostessing job because I was pretty, like, but it's fucking true.
Trying to think of like a middle school funny. A middle school funny. Or maybe high school because it's older. That's so because you're private. First of all, private v public schools is a whole thing.
I also think the thing between us is also Bay Area versus Midwest. I think
That's
is like
definitely
Bay
true.
Area private, Midwest public is like the biggest.
Whew.
It's like a big contrast. Yeah.
Huge.
For sure, because then all of a sudden you have pretty privilege, and then you have like class privilege, with that, which then makes everybody 10 times prettier. And
Yeah.
your prettiness is like tied
Bought.
into exactly. Your prettiness is bought. Your prettiness is like associated with like things that are like.
That was still happening for sure in Wisconsin, but it definitely is like, okay, are you wearing Lululemon? Are you wearing Uggs?
Yeah.
Do you have a fucking one of those Vera Bradley lanyards? Do you remember those fuckers?
No.
That was if you didn't have that, fuck off.
Oh my
Like, and I remember
God.
being like,
did you have one? you
these things I wouldn't, my parents rightfully so were like, no, you're not buying this shit. Like, you don't have a fucking job. You're like a child. Like, you're literally fine. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. I need it. I also got into thrifting too. So I was like, my mom has always been
I know,
thrift
which is
queen.
so cool. Like,
But it wasn't in middle school. I was terrified someone from my school would see me at Goodwill.
Oh my God.
Someone asked, where'd you get that? I'd be like, American Eagle or something.
Mhm.
And I'd be like, but then in 2 years, it's like cool and hip to thrift and like, ooh, like being like globally conscious is interesting and like, ooh, it's so cool. And then it became like a really cool thing, which is just what we were doing. But
I think if that happened for us. I
thrifting
definitely
became cool.
remember going to like curated vintage stores in like
Yeah,
junior
we didn't
year,
even
but
have
it was
those.
still like, yeah.
You're digging through the bins at Goodwill.
Yeah, no.
Literally, it's like things like that I'm like, be proud of what you're good at. Be proud of what you
know.
like.
I know.
It's so that's what makes me sad for middle school me is like you're not proud of who you are and you're not proud of things that you're good at just because it's not what fucking 10 people are doing. That's what's an inside out too. It's envy, like that becoming a thing. Who do you feel like's controlling? You know what? Okay, it's sad.
Yes.
Part of inside out too is like the dad's main guy's anger and the mom's is sadness.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
What do you think is yours, first guy?
Probably disgust.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because she's cunty?
No. I'm that's honestly something I've been working on in therapy for like 4 years.
That's awesome.
Is like my body like transmuted every emotion into like annoyance and disgust. And so it's just because that's like the easiest thing to not deal with. If I don't like it, why would I
Yeah.
process it? If you're
That feels
sad about
true.
it, you have to like digest it or whatever. Like anger, annoyance, and disgust are like the easy. So
That's so interesting.
like that's why like for me like I literally my ick was so visceral. You can ask any of my friends. Like I had so much trouble like going on dates with guys or anything because just the experience of the vulnerability was like fucking nauseating. Like when Jack and I first started like really like hanging out, there was one night where we were talking like the longest we had ever talked. Like it was like a really sweet
Romantic.
yeah, like a little sweet little whatever. And I literally like I stood up and I was like, okay, like I went into the bathroom and I was like, you have to leave. Like, you have to fucking go. And he was like, can we talk about it tomorrow? And I was like,
Jack's
no.
like, does not compute, does not compute.
Literally, I was like, this is disgusting. Like, I was
Wow.
like, like just horrified.
That is so interesting.
I know. It's like, but I definitely have like moved past.
Totally valid.
Trying to
It's
make
totally valid.
That's disgusting. Like, ew. Are we
Yeah.
really talking? Like, that's disgusting.
That's really that is very true. But I think it's an endearing thing too. Like
She's
when
cunt,
she
too.
bro, when
She's
she
cunt.
when she is like, what was that look? I know that look.
Yes,
That
bro.
is the shit.
Get
I
in
love
there.
her.
Yeah, because like you gotta like clock that shit. She clocks
She's
that
on her
shit.
ball.
Yeah, what's yours?
I was trying to think about this. I feel like it's like a different every fucking 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
That's
feel like
fair too. Me too.
What do you think? I
Sadness
don't know.
definitely sits in the wheel for me too.
Yeah, she gets
for
in that
sure.
bitch sometimes.
She definitely does.
Joy,
feel like-
don't feel like a joyous person sometimes. Even when I'm exuberant and happy and charming, whatever,
Yeah.
I don't feel like joy.
I know.
She feels a little aesthetically speaking, not my taste. I love her.
Mhm.
But I just don't feel like Leslie Knope's cooking shit in my head. I don't feel that way.
Mhm.
But who knows?
Well, that's another thing is I was like, I don't know. I was watching it and I was like, okay, I love this movie. I fucking love this movie. But how interesting would it be if there was like another like little character who is like, I don't know, like the racism character or something. Like if this
Yeah.
was a brown girl, like that's when that shit starts.
That's what I'm wanting.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. I don't really fuck with this little girl that much.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she's really sweet. I think
I liked her more in this
and I
movie.
think the movie does a really cool job of like giving her. She does like a little. She plays hockey and shit. Like she's
Yeah.
got a little, but she's really not. It's not about her.
Yeah. I think it's just like the Pixarification of a young girl. I'm
Yeah.
like, she'd be way weirder than
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
She'd be doing
exactly.
crazier shit.
Yeah, and like give her like it would be more interesting, but it
Yeah.
would also be like a little less heartwarming.
Less palatable for major audiences.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, oh wow, it's really complicated.
I was really hoping that this would go in like her, and they touched on it a bit of
Yeah.
her like being disrespectful to her parents
Mhm.
accidentally just because she's feeling things she doesn't understand.
Mhm.
And that was like not really a big part of it. Like there was a couple cuts too.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I just was like, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was honestly expecting like a little bit of the male gaze coming
Boys,
into
yeah.
the play, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah, totally.
But because that is also like speaking of that, when like the male gaze enters your fucking void, it's like that changes everything too. I remember that is when like the walls start breaking down for me. Like hers was like it's puberty too. It's like happens at the same time. But when those walls started breaking down, I was like, that's what it felt like to be catcalled for the first time, like walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do that. They're not
Because
gonna do that, of
they
course.
designed this system to crush girls. Like it's the system is designed to crush women in general. And so then when you think about the way that like comes down on a fucking by design, they're like, all of a sudden you're gonna fucking hate yourself. People are gonna be so fucking creepy and not nice to you. Like it's like pouring down on you, and it's because it's by design. It's like they're literally like been planting the little man in your head since the time you were fucking 2, bro.
They're like, I'm not good at anything feeling. It's just like,
and her voice echoing that.
Yeah, that was sad.
The strings that they're pricking.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's brutal.
Really, really sweet.
I loved Io Debris.
Oh,
and I
so
love Maya
good.
Io Debris, she wore like a suit the color of her character to the premiere, and she looked like Julia Roberts, like with her like curly hair and her suit. And she's like our Julia Roberts. Isn't that cool? She's the people's princess. Love.
The teal suit, right?
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
my
With her like
God,
wavy
she
hair.
looks
It was
so
like I think she was
good.
referencing it
And her
low-key.
character is so cute.
So cute.
Oh my god, she's so cute. And embarrassment is really silly
He's-
too. I like thinking of embarrassment like
Yeah,
that.
he's a
Silly,
little
like-
cutie. But I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of was wanting him in Sadness to get a little flirty.
Oh, no, what?
Yeah, they're asexual, I guess. But no, because Disgust and that fucker,
Yeah.
that guy, the warrior. Bro,
Oh yeah.
they
But
were
not the emotions with each other.
Why not?
Because they're in her head.
I don't think.
I don't know.
You don't think horniness comes from that?
Oh my
Who's
god.
horny?
The emotions are fucking with each other?
Maybe, I don't know.
Alright,
They just like, I think it was supposed to be a friendly thing, and I just put it on to him. But they kind of like looked at each other and were like nervous looking at each other.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, what? Sometimes.
Are we gonna go?
Also, the giant secret in her head. Sorry, what?
I know. I think she's gay.
Obviously.
Okay, yeah.
The friend, Francesca, with the red stripe that she's in love with.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, then do it.
I know.
Say she has a crush on her.
I know.
Like, oh my God.
Take us there. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah. Totally.
That was also, it was like beating around the bush. She doesn't have sexual feelings yet, but it's like, that's exactly where she has sexual feelings.
I think they need to do like a third one that's PG-13.
Oh my God, I'd love
Because
that.
that's the problem. There's like all these 2-year-olds in the audience, which I'm like, they can be exposed to the gays.
They should
It's gonna be okay.
know.
Yeah, I know. But then like you get these fucking grandpas, like one of the grandpas that like of the families I nannied for, like they were watching Turning Red, and like a pad flies across the screen, like
Oh, I
during
remember this.
whatever,
Yeah.
like when she turns into a panda for the first time. And we sat down and he talked to me about it, and he was like, "Can you? This little boy is 4 years old, and he should not be exposed to things like this." And I'm like, he's sitting there next to his 9-year-old sister, like.
Did you say taste my fucking fist?
Literally,
Grandpa?
I did. No, we fucking brought it
You
out.
had words?
Yeah, we definitely did. And he's like, "Mom, I really appreciate hearing your perspective because you had a very different perspective than mine." Anyways, we like
Literally hate that so much. Okay, you want it? Okay, this episode is very
pivot.
loosey-goosey, and I wanted a fairy question to emulate it a bit. And thinking about Inside Out 2 in theme with the episode 2, what, when you were little, is your mind palace? Like, what was the fairy tale, the princess story, the world that was built for you that felt like this is what the inside of my brain feels like?
It feels very similar to last week. Like it definitely was like the fairy houses. It definitely was like redwood tree bark, and like we had. I just would spend a lot of time, I think, like sitting in parks and like playing with twigs, and
That's
like,
really cool.
you know, like propping those things up and making potions. And
Yeah. Okay, it says a lot about us that I was like, obviously it's going to be a movie.
Oh, what?
Isn't that funny? I think it just
Okay.
like shows how we were raised differently. I'm like, it's definitely a movie.
What is it?
It's Brandy and Whitney's Cinderella with Bernadette Peters.
That's cool.
It's the like the production design is amazing. It's like
fun.
kind of a Cheesecake Factory vibe, but in like a really like fairy tale princess land.
Ooh.
It's beautiful. And it's shot for TV, so it has like a really low,
Cheesecake Factory vibe.
you know, with like the curly edges.
Oh, that's what it looks like.
curly
Oh,
edges.
Okay.
Not like the food.
like the aesthetic or something.
yeah.
Okay,
Like when you walk in, you're like, ooh, am I a mushroom?
Right.
What's going on?
That's how you feel when you walk.
I literally am like, I'm in a mushroom.
Should
Why?
we go to the Cheesecake Factory? That sounds.
That sounds
fucking
crazy.
delicious.
No, because those people we were hanging out with were like, don't ever go there.
Oh yeah, because they like stick fingers in your food. That's what they told us. They literally stick fingers in their
Blech.
fucking food. Gross.
Anyway, and like the pretty dresses and the songs, and it's also like naturey, and it's shot for TV, so it's like low quality camera in the
Right.
fucking like 90s, 2000s.
Gorge.
And then it's like Brandy and Whitney and
Ugh.
George Costanza.
And that's what like the inside of your brain looks like.
that was like, I watched that movie like every day.
Wow.
That was like my favorite movie of all time.
I love that.
And it was like my comfort movie. And that also is like, that was my magical fairyland. I feel like is what it looked like that. Looks like a set. But like really cool. But it's cool that yours is twigs and shit.
Yeah.
I guess side question, is there a movie or a story? Like also Princess and the Pea for me too. I was like sitting late when I couldn't fall asleep, I still do this. I like imagine all the mattresses.
Uh-huh.
And then I imagine like if I could feel a pea into the mattresses. But it's like beautiful
Oh.
fabric and
That's like a meditation.
yes, that's what I do.
that.
I just love that story.
That's really cool. I liked that story too when I was a kid. We also had this one story about mermaids that my mom would like read us a chapter book to fall asleep at night, which is like fucking goated. Or like one of those meditations that we talked about last time. But it was like a 3-part series. Oh my god, this is like unlocking something in my brain. I'm like, I should reread these. And it was about like a little mermaid
Neat.
family of like under the sea, and like she was like
Aw.
experiencing like life and girlhood and like all of this stuff underneath the sea, you know?
I
and
love
it was
that.
really, oh my god, like I loved those books.
That's really cool.
it was really fun. Yeah,
That's really
that's
cool.
that's my
That's the
answer to that.
Fucking
for
awesome.
sure.
That's the question.
It's really fun how your imagination is so unlocked when you're a kid. It's
Yeah, it's
so
just
like
there.
yes, it's right there.
Yeah, literally.
Oh,
But that's like Inside Out felt that way when you like see like the little worlds that she's going to in her brain. I love thinking about like what are my nooks in my brain and like what are those little
Let's go run around in there.
pockets?
I would just like fucking kill to like be able to become one of those little critter guys and
I
like
love those little
jump
fuckers.
into your brain and go run around.
Fuck my shit up. Drive me crazy.
Literally.
That's
Or
so
like I
sweet.
would kill. I say this all the time, but like I wish we could like you jump in my brain, I'll jump in your brain for the day. Then we'll jump in Carlos's brain. You don't like this.
I do
would
not like that.
I want to jump in Jack's brain. I want to jump in my mom's brain. I want to
I
jump.
want to do
Mhm.
is become an invisible ghost and like be with you all day at work and you don't know I'm there.
Oh,
That's what I wanna do. I don't want to be in your shit.
I want to go. I want to
You
go
wanna
in.
be in
I want to
there?
be in the shit. I want to know exactly what you're thinking.
So you want to know secrets?
I want to know secrets.
Wow. See, I want to see people like exist without thinking that someone's here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I want. That's the secrets I want to know.
Well, you can just come like sit in the corner.
No, but you
and-
can't know I'm here.
I would pretend.
You know I'm here. I'll know it's fake. I would pretend.
So is your superpower your superpower invisible?
No,
Oh,
obviously.
that sounds like what you would want.
No, that's just
I'm
like,
mind reader and you're invisible.
you want to mind read,
down.
mind control, or mind read.
Ooh.
You want to mind control.
I already mind control. Like it's fine. Like I can
That's funny.
manipulate anybody into thinking whatever.
I'd be like transportation. Boom.
Okay.
Transportation, teleportation. Transportation's like planes and trains
Really?
and automobiles.
Okay. If I was
Wouldn't
gonna
want to
choose,
go anywhere in the world fucking like that. Never want to plan again. Bet.
I wouldn't be able to decide where to go.
Go anywhere.
I'd be stressed. You
You
get
can go everywhere.
sick. What about your immune system?
Why would you get sick?
Because you're exposed to all these different environments.
You could space it out.
Take a couple of booster
I
shots.
think you get less sick traveling through
Probably.
teleportation than like however
Never
long we
have to go to
travel
the
through the
airport
world.
again?
Literally,
Okay,
what?
but I want to fly.
Oh, like a bird? Like, do you have wings or can you just levitate really fast as much as you like?
Levitating sounds stressful, but I don't.
Mm.
In this, do you like grow wings? I would
Whatever you
love to
think.
be able to just, with the hands.
With your hands.
So it's like really.
You gotta have feathers. No, the rule is you gotta have feathers. I can't allow it.
It physically won't work.
But also, I watch Incredibles. I'm like, Elastigirl, that I'm down.
What does she do?
She can
She's,
do
like, stretchy?
anything. Stretchy. She can be a boat. She can be a parachute. She can fucking lift the shit.
That's crazy.
She's on a bike. The bike separates. She is with both sides.
Oh, what?
She's
I
a
did not
baller. You've
remember
never
this
seen The
part of it.
Incredibles?
I did. Jack made me watch it. but
You
I
didn't fuck with it?
I just.
So what about these little kid movies where you'd be like, okay, yeah, I fuck with both Inside Outs, but I do not like The Incredibles.
I know that's kind of crazy, but also I think a lot of it depends on like my mood when I watched it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think I need to
interesting.
give The Incredibles a
You would
second
like a
shot.
great jazz soundtrack.
Ooh.
Ooh, should we scat on the way out like Pen 15?
Shoo bop, shoo bop. They scat.
Bro, that's my favorite part is when Maya fucking goes, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to do it. Like she's at the dinner table.
Oh yes.
Because I'm gonna fly real
Oh
high.
yes, bro. Oh my god, yeah, that episode touches on a really
Yeah.
touchy subject.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
no.
that show.
Oh,
Okay, no, let's scat.
Hey, you start.
Oh, brother.
Oh wait, this is hard.
What are we even scatting? Are you like gonna rap over it?
No, quit asking me to rap. Or unless you want me to, I will.
I'm like, please do it again.
Okay, do we do it again?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we just like doo bop, shoo bop, and trick it.
I got a little animal there.
Oh, let's make a song right now.
Okay, then we
Like
sing
the
lyrics.
layers,
Let's
yeah.
sing some lyrics.
Okay.
This happened last time when our lyrics were fucked.
I know, true. Let's try again.
Our beat was fucked.
Okay.
We need to have a beat and a key.
Wham, wham, shoo bop, shoo bam. Show us your tots. Show us your tots. What?
Okay, we need to stop.
That's enough.
We need to stop.